What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end so you can hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop another video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. Most people in the world have suffered some kind of trauma in their lives, no matter what kind of environment you come from. Of course, it's different things depending on how you grow up. You might have a parent that's on drugs and have to witness them suffer and fight that sickness and addiction. Or a two-parent household in the suburbs, but your parents fight day and night. I learned a long time ago not to compare people's trauma, because no matter the situation, it all affects individuals differently. You might have a young man growing up in the trenches, seeing bodies drop every day, and he acts like he is desensitized toward it, but that pain is still there, leading to issues later on down the line. In certain communities, mental health is an afterthought. When you are trying to just survive every day, a lot of people don't stop and ask themselves, how am I really doing? Is my state of mind good? Leading to millions walking around with undiagnosed issues. Some people bury their trauma so deep they can't even remember, but wonder why they are depressed or have social anxiety, not knowing it's from something that could have happened early on in childhood. But once we become adults, it's on us to go out here and live a productive life. The world and people in it don't care what you have been through or what you got going on. Everybody likes to say we all have problems and only the strong survive. But when your mental is not right, sometimes surviving is a struggle within itself. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we'll be taking it to Indianapolis, Indiana to discuss the recent case of a crazy altercation between roommates that took a twisted turn. 44-year-old Shawnetta Small was trying her best to live a productive life in Indiana. Described as a sweet woman with a great personality and beautiful smile. But under the surface, Shawnetta had issues. Let's rewind back to 1986. Growing up as a little girl, her mother found herself in a toxic relationship with Shawnetta's father. He used to always yell, always be mad, and put hands on everybody in the house. She had brothers and sisters, and they would often be so scared they wouldn't even leave their bedroom, locking themselves in, even when their father was at work. Eventually, at 5 years old, one day her aunt came over and witnessed what was going on and the way the kids were acting, always scared and upset. She helped her sister and Shawnetta's mother escape the relationship and get on her feet. She got a house for her and the kids, but the damage was already done. Shawnetta, as she got older, spent years battling mental illness, but it was undiagnosed. Everybody wondered why the young lady would run away or always get in trouble. Her aunt, who helped the family escape her father, was the family support system. But when she moved away to Ohio, things went downhill. Her mother lost custody of the kids, and they all went into foster care and were separated. Her aunt would lose contact, but as years went by, 30 to be exact, she got a call from Shawnetta asking could she come to Ohio to stay with her and get on her feet. Always wanting the best for her niece, she stated yes. Once Shawnetta arrived, her aunt quickly realized she had issues. She would sleep with all her clothes on. Even though the room was clean, she would make it messy and just lay down and cover herself up with a coat. She wouldn't clean up behind herself, and even though she had blankets and a nice setup, she preferred it that way. She would often talk in riddles, not making sense. Her aunt took her to a doctor, where she was diagnosed with severe bipolar disorder and other mental illnesses as well, and put on medication. While on her medicine, she was good, back to her old self, talking, smiling, and things seemed good. But Shawnetta didn't like the way it made her feel, so she would always stop taking them and go into these episodes where she would always leave home for months at a time. And when her aunt would call around to finally find out where she was at, she would be in a psych ward in a whole nother state. This went on for years. She would go missing, end up homeless in the streets, or catch multiple charges in a whole nother state. One day in 2018, her aunt received a package in the mail with all of Shaunetta's belongings, her ID, and personal information. Fearing the worst, she reached out to a number that was wrote on a piece of paper with all of the information. It seemed Shaunetta had been spotted in a small town in Missouri and had been rescued by an organization that helps people get off the streets with mental illnesses and get in contact with their families. She told them she had been to Florida and other multiple states just walking. At first, she refused help, food, clothes, or water. But after being convinced to get off the streets, she gave the people her aunt's address. Happy her niece was okay, Shaunetta asked her could she come back and live with her, in which she stated yes. But as she got back, she quickly again stopped taking her meds and went back to the streets. Her aunt last heard from her that year, when Shaunetta told her she had ran across some money from a settlement and was moving back to Indiana. Fast forward to 2025, Shaunetta found herself living in a house with rooms for rent in the 1500 block of North Downey Avenue in Indianapolis. It was in total about 8 tenants, including a 20-year-old man named Abdul Banks. For the most part, all the roommates stayed to themselves and didn't know much about each other, and no one knew Shaunetta's battle with mental illness. On July 11th of this year, Indianapolis police got a call from Shaunetta stating her roommate was trying to start a fight with her about paying rent. The roommate she was referring to was Abdul. She asked could police come to the home. By the time they arrived, they waited for everybody to come out the house. It was a little bit after 8 p.m. In the house at the time was Abdul, his girlfriend, and other tenants. They did a search of the house, asking who called the police. That's when they found Shaunetta in a room suffering from a gunshot wound to the chest, and unfortunately, she was pronounced gone on the scene. Police now having a homicide scene talked to different tenants. One person stated they heard Shaunetta and Abdul going back and forth about something before they heard her call the police and state, "You going to jail." And minutes after hanging up, they said they heard a loud pop. Abdul, when questioned by police, he told them he was home relaxing with his girlfriend when Shaunetta went to the bathroom. He claimed she had the door wide open while going number 2. He claimed he then told her to shut the door and he pushed it shut, but then she opened it back up, leading to an argument. He claimed in the midst of the confrontation, she got up, spit on him, broke his TV, and then took some tissue she had already used and spread human waste on him. After that, he didn't say nothing else. He left it at that. He never admitted to shooting a woman. He only stated he tried to take the broken TV to the pawn shop for a few dollars after the fight, but the store was closed. But another roommate claimed after the argument with Shaunetta, they went to talk to the young man and asked, was he good? They claimed the dude stated, "No, what you want to fight?" before upping a gun on him. With that information, he was taken into custody, charged with first-degree hit. When asked did he ever have any previous problems with Shaunetta, the young man stated no. As of now, this case hasn't made its way to court yet, and Abdul is innocent until proven otherwise. Rest in peace to Shaunetta. I send my prayers and condolences to her family. Her aunt, who didn't talk to her for years, was heartbroken to get the tragic news and felt Shaunetta lost her life due to years and years of mental health issues and people not realizing it. As far as Abdul, not to excuse his actions, but I could see if things played out like he said and she put her used tissue on him and waste getting to a boiling point. I don't condone putting hands on women, but I could see somebody losing their cool over something like that. But to allegedly shoot her and take her life, that's a whole nother level. Shaunetta could have been triggered. Seeing a man yelling at her could have brought up all her trauma from childhood, and she reacted scared in a self-defense kind of way. But I'm curious to know what y'all thoughts is on this situation. And I want to end this one with a few questions. Do you think it's important for people with mental illness to let others know if they got to be around them all day, like live with them or at work? And do you yourself know a person that struggles with their mental and it affects the way they deal with people, maybe their interactions? keeping a job? Let me know your experiences in the comments. And remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail. So we won't be just another hood tale. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace to Shawnetta. I definitely send my prayers to her family. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Y'all leave it in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of Hood Tales. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.